This is Middle East Matters on France 24. I'm Hala Mohideen. Coming up in this week's show, an exclusive from inside Mosul. The Iraqi army claim they're making progress, but the high casualty figures suggest otherwise. Plus, Coca-Cola comes to Gaza, a new arrival which highlights a serious shortage of drinking water in the enclave. But first, to Mosul, where the Iraqi army say they're making ground, advancing to within 1 kilometre of the Tigris River. However, with around 2,000 soldiers killed in the battle in November alone, and a quarter of the army's vehicles destroyed, has Baghdad been too quick to claim the upper hand? Mathieu Mabin and Norredine Bezziou met the special forces trying to retake the city and filed this exclusive report.
At the eastern gates of Mosul, in this improvised first aid centre, there is a constant flow of patients. This boy has just escaped from a mine explosion. His father did not survive. We enter the area recaptured by Iraqi counter-terrorism forces. Armoured vehicles, taken out by mines, litter the street. Our driver, Corporal Yassim, is 21 years old and ensures our protection.
There were a lot of them in this neighbourhood. We surrounded them and killed every single one. We haven't collected the bodies left over.
They are known as the Golden Unit. For nearly 7 weeks, Iraqi counter-terrorism troops have been fighting in the battle for Mosul. Considered as the Praetorian Guard of the Prime Minister and the pride of the government, these men, clad in black, are trained and equipped by US Special Forces. Mosul was branded as a vicious battle, and it has been.
It's a maze here, and there are many civilians. Fighting in the streets is difficult. If we want to save civilian lives, we need to go very slowly.
Iraqi soldiers have been receiving local support as they advance despite Islamic State being here for 2.5 years.
As soon as we arrived, they told us which houses were occupied by terrorists. We have the support of some of the civilians.
Be careful of houses surrounding mine. One behind and one on the right. I'm just letting you know.
Distinguishing an IS militant from an ally is a difficult task. Infiltrators are the army's nightmare. The first gunshot of the day, just a few steps away.
Sniper.
This time, they come from an area taken from IS fighters yesterday. In a few minutes, the situation changes. 2 blocks away, infiltrators have made these policemen abandon gang territory. The illusion of victory is not enough to remove fear.
He's terrified.
By deserting their posts, the policemen have caused an exodus. Captain Amjad is 29 and commands 30 men.
Look, they're refugees.
Stop, don't move. Open your jackets and walk slowly.
In Mosul, the threat from suicide bombers hangs in the air. These families have just escaped from the clutches of IS. It's their first cigarette in 2.5 years.
The jihadists have infiltrated the neighboring area, 150 meters away.
It's almost nighttime, but the policeman's retreat has left a gap in the defensive perimeter of this neighborhood. Following a radio call, a group of policemen come forwards.
Hi, I'm Captain Amjad. We're glad to see you. Where is your post?
It's there.
Okay, you're coming with us, so let's go.
The shots intensify. The soldiers expect to come face to face with their enemy in any second.
Left corner check.
A couple more steps to regain the abandoned outpost before the jihadists do.
Okay, go.
The military reached a crossroads, their objective completed just before nightfall. Back at battalion headquarters, Captain Amjad is informed of the death of one of his friends. Another one in an ever-growing list.
He was a captain like me. He was in command of a squad, and he just died in combat. May God protect his soul.
Since the beginning of the battle for Mosul, 20% of the unit's men have been killed or injured, and only a quarter of the town has been recaptured. At this rate, if the Iraqi regulars don't take over, the renowned Golden Unit will be out of action.
Now, she's the 7-year-old Syrian girl whose Twitter account won admirers the world over. Now, however, Bana Alabed's recent absence from the social media sphere is raising concerns. So just who is this little girl, and why has she captured people's imagination? Mariam Saab finds out.
A Twitter account disabled and reactivated within 24 hours is not typically cause for concern, except when the author is a 7-year-old girl who tweets about life under bombardment in eastern Aleppo. Leading up to the social media blackout, Bana and her mother Fatima were tweeting with alarming regularity. As the regime's army closed in, the Alabed family feared that their time was running out.
We're sure the army is capturing us now. We will see each other another day, dear world. Bye, Fatima.
Filmed on the streets of Aleppo last month,
I am sad. It's so bad.
Bana's story was picked up around the world. When she went offline for 24 hours, her followers feared the worst. The hashtag #WhereIsBana went viral. Twitter users tried to track her down. With their home in ruins, some assumed that the Alabed family may have travelled to the western section of the city, much of which had fallen to government forces. Questions that were left unanswered, raising concerns about the authenticity of the account, circulating since it first appeared in September. Some thought it improbable that a 7-year-old Arabic-speaking child could open a Twitter account and post in fluent English in the first place. Others wondered whether it was a propaganda ploy engineered by anti-regime rebels.
She may even be a made-up character, or she may be real, but the account could be orchestrated by her mother and a group of activists. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to prove whether what she's saying is true or false.
An indisputable fact, the little girl in the Twitter videos is real, as is her suffering. Since the accounts returned to the Twitter feeds of more than 160,000 followers, calls to verify exactly who is behind the tweets and account for its sudden deactivation have gotten louder.
Well, to Gaza now, where the new Coca-Cola factory has thrown open its doors. The creation of almost 1,000 jobs is a welcome development in the Palestinian enclave, which suffers one of the worst unemployment rates in the world. However, water in Gaza is in short supply, which raises problems of its own, as Nicolas Roppert and Jimmy Hutcheon report.
The first bottles manufactured in Gaza are coming out from a factory that has just opened its doors. The project was launched 2 years ago in the Palestinian enclave of 2 million inhabitants.
As you see in the plant, the equipment is very huge equipment. It wasn't easy to bring them to the borders, but by the final we brought them and we started our production.
The company had to deal with the water problem here. So Coca-Cola had no choice but to build its own desalination plant. The tap water is not drinkable in the Gaza Strip.
This water is okay, but you can't drink it. It's only used to wash the dishes, but we don't dare drink it.
Like the water stored on this rooftop, reserves in Gaza contain a high salt content. In total, only 10% of the water is drinkable, and Coca-Cola's opening does not delight everyone here.
Even the small amount of water is taken away. No one cares about us, the people of Gaza.
Last November, a World Bank report stated that the situation here was alarming. If nothing changes by 2020, the Gaza Strip will become uninhabitable. The only solution, to desalinate seawater.
This is our plant. This tile is able to produce 2,000 cubic meters per day. And of course, we desalinate seawater and make it drink water.
In order to compensate for its high water consumption, the Coca-Cola Foundation promised to provide drinking water to the 25,000 inhabitants of one of Gaza's main refugee camps.
And before we leave you, the countdown to Christmas is well underway, especially in Bethlehem. The city is revered as the birthplace of Jesus. It attracts thousands of tourists and Christian pilgrims alike. Well, the giant tree in Bethlehem was lit in front of a crowd of hundreds, with fireworks ushering in the festive season. And we'll leave you on that Christmassy note. We're back at the same time next week. See you then on France 24.